All right, good morning, good evening, good night. This is the best NFT show in the world, coming at you hot with the latest from around the industry. Me and Ronan the Collector sitting right here in LADZ City. Still raining where I'm at, but Ronan looks like he's got a nice piece of weather there, man. How are you doing today, my man, Ronan?
Dude, I'm doing good,
Oh,
man.
you're
I'm
muted,
enjoying
man.
the nice crisp air. Nope. Can you
There you
hear me
go.
now?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no, they heard me. You didn't hear me,
Ah.
but now you can hear me. Yeah, no, man. It's a beautiful night here, dude. I'm hanging out. I went and got some implants. You can't see them. I got the skin graft thing going on above them. But dude, just hanging out in the NFT world, man. It's been crazy as always. Lots of news to cover this week for you guys. Obviously, there's just a slew of stuff to chat about. I'm really looking forward to our guest today. We've got Koji from Parallel, and that is an excellent project that I've learned a lot about just this morning, honestly. But I've been kind of keeping up and hearing a little bit about as they've kind of been kind of stuff together and going about like their roadmap, and looking forward to hearing more about that project. How about you, dude? How about, you know what? It was brought to my attention that I don't ever ask you, how are you doing, Q? And what has
Oh
your
man.
week been like, dude?
Thank you so much, Ronan. I
My
appreciate
therapist
your.
told me I need to ask about your feelings more.
Thank you. Whatever your therapist's name, please and thank you there. Yeah, I'm
She's
feeling
taking
good,
care of
man.
us.
NFTs are I wouldn't call it a lull right now. I think we're in a good spot. Definitely off that market cycle top. They're in like March time frame, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited for where NFTs are headed. I think we're gonna see the best projects kind of come to fruition here and rise to the top, of which I think Parallel is one of them in the brief time that you showed me about them. But kind of just watching my Matic bag a little bit here. I know that's been popped off here over the past, I would say, 7 days to 14 days, and just watching that a little bit, watching the space develop, and just having a good time with the lads, man. Having a good time with the lads. Let's hit these. Let's hit these comments, man. What do we got?
Let's see who we got. The usuals is obviously Hash Rhymes is first in chat. Thank you so much. Sunrise, how you doing? Hanford, Easy, and Crypto. What's good, brother? Crypto Stamina's in the house. Llama, DJ Savage, how you doing, brother? We appreciate you rocking out in Lad City whenever you get the chance. The tunes have been excellent. We've got check out the Cogs crew. XP, Peter, Choina, everybody jumping in saying hello. We appreciate the love. We do have some updates on what they've got going on over at Red Fox. And it's a lot, man. We show a lot of love for Cogs. I love that project, and apparently I need to start putting some tubes together. So
Mm.
I'll explain that kind of towards the end of the episode.
Dude, XPlow has been waiting for you to hop on this channel because he just peppering me with some RFOX stuff all episode, man, and I'm excited to
He
basically.
said
What do you say?
this morning, he said he told the RFOX guy that he put me on the line with. He said I've been bugging Ronan for like, I don't know, like a week or so about covering this. I'm like, dude, it's been like 3 weeks, and every week you're like, XP's like, hey man, what about RFOX? So we're gonna cover RFOX this week. We're gonna talk about the vault. I think
Mm.
it's really cool. I'm super hardcore in like this like metaverse like mode. Like I want to know about all the metaverse projects that are going on. We've got one in the stories that we're going to talk about. It's the Arc Novo project by Harlan, and he's in the sci-fi community. Looks really cool. It's a cool metaverse experience that is, projecting and sharing our art and our NFTs is an important part of what comes next for the ecosystem, in my opinion. And it's nice to see that there's some projects and some platforms that are looking at that and how to solve for that. And yeah, so definitely looking forward to having the chat about what RFox is doing with the vault, and how they're kind of approaching it from a little bit of a different standpoint. And check that out, dude. Check it
Yeah,
out,
I don't know
man.
if you.
Lad
Yeah, I
City
don't
is
know if you've
amazing.
seen this yet. You're talking about metaverses, and he did.
Yes.
Small Town Cowboy's been doing a great job building Lad City in the uplift and in Minecraft. There, he's doing a phenomenal job. It's really coming together, and it's really allowing us to kind of get involved in a lot of the lore that is happening when we're hopping on these episodes and throughout the city. So shout out to Small Town Cowboy, man. Ronan, I wanted you to see that. I
Huge
wanted you to see that, man.
huge shout out to Small Town Cowboy. I actually had a meeting this morning with a project, and we were chatting about the metaverse and kind of like the implementation of NFTs and the interoperability of them and being implemented in the metaverse. And I was like, if you guys have not checked out the LADZ City build that's coming to Uplift, you need to watch the show because it is absolute. Look at this, man. It's even better than the last time I saw. Dude, the last time I saw, I didn't see the little this area. I didn't see the area for concerts, the little concert hall. Dude, this is amazing. Huge shout out to Small Town. We appreciate you so much. And, honestly, a huge shout out to the entire community. It's because of you guys and the support that you guys show us every week that we're able to really kind of provide projects like this and be part of these projects and get to build out this community and this network and everything that we're doing. So, huge shout out to the community. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget, I'm going to take this opportunity real quick to like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to ask you guys to do one step further, okay? I'm going to ask you guys to share this somewhere. I don't care if you're sharing it on Discord. I don't care if you're putting it on Twitter. If you're sharing it on Facebook for some reason, go ahead and just share the link wherever you feel comfortable, but let someone know about the content that we're putting out here on NFT Live, because I think that we need some more lads and ladies in the chat.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. We did a great job breaking down the what's to come in LADZ City there, man, and thank you for doing that here. All right, we're going to get to the episode. We have an interview again with Parallel. They're doing some awesome things with collectibles and trading card games and things like this. This reminds me of some of the projects that we've had on in the recent weeks where as you dig farther and farther into the project, you're like, holy crap, they're doing a lot. And I can't believe I just heard that on NFT Live. Can't wait to break this down for you guys. We'll get to the episode breakdown after this interview because we do have Koji waiting in the wings. I'm going to unmute him here and bring him up on the screen. Koji, how are you doing here today in LADZ City, man?
Hey guys, yeah, doing good. Thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for the great intro.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate that. So kind of just like the quick, down and dirty, like give us like a little bit about what Parallel is and exactly like, the game, I guess, aspect of what you're doing.
Sure. So I'll give you a little backstory as well. I mean, Parallel started, it's a group of us who have been friends for a while who have always had an idea for something like this. And then our kind of worlds collided when, the idea to incorporate a game and an NFT came together. And so we had some artists, a game designer like myself, some writers, some technologists who are more versed in the crypto space than I. But we've all, like I said, we've all been friends for a really long time, and we all decided like, hey, why don't we utilize all the skills we have together, become equal partners in this thing, and see what we can do. And so, essentially, what we're trying to do is create a collectible trading card game in the NFT space. But I mean, my goal, I used to be a Magic player, so my goal is to kind of bring back the mystique of the card store. Like one of my favorite things was cracking open packs and going to a card store and like finding the card I wanted and buying those cards and stuff. And that's kind of like what I want to bring to, sort of this generation of players. Because I feel like as much as I love the card games that exist right now, like I'm a huge Hearthstone guy. I play in Magic the Gathering Arena. I play Runeterra. I play all the games. But like essentially you're just leasing resources from them, right? Like once you're done with the card, there's nothing you can do with it. It's still, even though you've paid to open a pack, it still belongs to the company that let you open that pack. It's not yours. And so what we want to do is allow you to buy, sell, and trade your assets. Let them belong to you.
Absolutely. And I think that is, for me, where the concept of NFTs and where the technology would go, it became really apparent. And I think to see that you guys have that emphasis on, having that feeling of owning your cards and, like you said, going back to the card store. I didn't play Magic super hardcore. I never got into card games like that, but I always kind of dabbled. And I did, like, I think my favorite part was really the opening the packs and collecting and swapping and going to the store. I used to go to the tournaments. I didn't really play, but I'd go and I'd swap cards and, try to figure out game theory and build my decks. And so to think that you guys are kind of focusing on that is excellent. I know kind of in the chat earlier, you know, we kind of talked a little bit about what you guys are doing as far as the game mechanics are concerned. But I think like one of the things that I was really impressed with was the lore. And I think that the fact that you guys are really trying to kind of build out this entire universe, right, to build Parallel in and around is really enticing to me. So I'd love for you to kind of touch on the lore real quick for us, just kind of like a little bit about like, you know, what is, you know, the time, you know, like that parallel universe that you got going. I'd love to hear just kind of a top level of what that's like.
Absolutely. I will say that I probably won't. I'll go over it in a brief way. That you know, you can check the website and you can check our Discord for more info. But the writers are very selective about what they're sharing and not sharing, and I don't have that exact overview in front of me, so I don't want to misstep here. But essentially, the story behind the game is that you know, scientists have at one point in the near future, scientists have discovered what they believe to be an infinite source of energy. And so they run this experiment and something goes wrong. And it becomes apparent that rather than give us this infinite source of energy, what it's actually done is potentially make the Earth inhabitable in a short period of time. And so, you know, as human beings, we never act really in concert. So, you know, some people decide they're going to, you know, colonize Mars and live there. Some people decide they're going to go into deep space. Some people, you know, a bunch of different factions of humans go off and do their own thing. And then the game takes place thousands and thousands of years later, where all of these human beings who have gone off in different directions have evolved separately in parallel, which is where the name comes from. But after all of that time, it's come to pass that the experiment didn't fail. There was just a bit of a gestation period. So now the Earth is filled with this, you know, after what we call the priming, it's filled with this like renewable energy source, and literally everything is energy. And so all these humans have come back to Earth to take advantage of that energy, and they're sort of now fighting over the resources. And the one thing that really caught me about the story, that like really sucked me in from the beginning, when the writers gave me their pitch, is as different as each parallel is, that's what we call the different factions. As different as they all are, if you ask any of them, you know, what are you? They're all going to say, we're human. And even though they're like completely, you know, evolved separately from one another, they all believe themselves to be human. And, you know, so there is still like a binding factor amongst all of them. And I thought, hey, that's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, we have a bunch of people on the channel talking about the lore, but I think you guys are really diving deep, and it soothes my soul a little bit, because me and Rona really like talking about the story behind NFT assets, right? But the story behind the assets that you guys are creating, that's what really gives them life, and you guys seem to be doing a good job here. So I'm going to pull back up my screen here and show parallels. And from a old Magic the Gathering player, and I did go to the tournaments too, so me and Ronan are kindred spirits. I love the aspect of having the swamp deck and the forest deck and the fire decks. You've got kind of the same thing going on here. You see Earthen and a couple others. So can you take me through what the different parallel races are?
Yeah. Okay. So I also say this, that like there's a lot of lore available in various places, but there's also way more that hasn't been released yet. Like these guys have sent me pages and pages of documents, so like there'll be a lot of a deep dive to come if you're interested in that sort of thing. But I'll briefly go over story-wise what each parallel is. So the Earthen are actually the humans that remained on Earth, so they either didn't have the resources or inclination to actually leave Earth when this cataclysmic event was happening. And of course, they somehow found a way to survive in harmony with nature. And so they become very kind of attuned to the Earth. I mean, I guess if you're a Magic player, you can think of it kind of like a green deck sort of thing. They're, you know, very animal friendly, very nature friendly, and they see themselves as the defenders of Earth. So because, you know, they're the ones that remained, and so they do things like I mean, I don't want to go as far as to say they control the weather per se, but they are attuned to things like you know, changing in weather patterns and the various environments of the new Earth. Okay, so the Markolians, that name is actually derived from Mars colonists, and so they're the group that populated Mars when it was told that the Earth was going to be destroyed or what have you, and they kind of you can think of them as like higher beings almost. They've elevated themselves to they believe themselves to be perfect, and they're very sort of technology focused, but they kind of look down at the other human races, I suppose. From a magic perspective, it's hard to say, but I would say like maybe kind of like a red-ish feel. I don't want to equate everything back to magic, but I'll do my best to try and explain it.
I know you got a lot of ones here, and I love the fact that I just clicked into about Ojin Core, about Earth, and then there's a whole story associated, man. But just give us the TLDR here on these for sure.
Yeah, okay. So the Ogden are, they've decided to live out in space, and so they started out as asteroid miners, and now are slowly adopting their technology. As they lived longer and longer in space, they realized like their answer to surviving was technology as opposed to populating a different place, and so they are augmented humans, cybernetics and all of that sort of stuff. The Catharis populated a planet, I think Jupiter's moon, and they perfected the race through cloning. So they are all derivative of their ancestors, and a lot of what they do is clone based. And then the Shroud are very mysterious. They actually left Earth before any of this happened on a generation ship to try and populate somewhere in deep space. And what actually ended up happening to them is very early on in their trip, they got sucked into a black hole, and to their eyes got spit out an instant later. But it actually just happens to be that were spit out thousands and thousands and thousands of years into the future when this conflict is taking place. And now, because of that, being sucked into a black hole, they have abilities they don't yet understand or can control.
That's awesome. I think that like for me, like Shroud is like where I want to like start to dabble. Like that's like where I can really like get into things. And I think that like someone in chat it was actually Llama asked like probably the most important question, which is which race has the coolest weapons?
I can't answer that question because I feel like they all have very cool weapons. It really depends on what your sort of style is. I mean, I designed most of the cards, or me and my team designed most of the cards. So like, it's hard for me to pick a favorite, but it really depends on what your aesthetic is. If you're like kind of green and down to earth kind of person, obviously the Earthener for you. Whereas if you want like crazy space age technology, then maybe the Shroud, or like almost mysticism, maybe the Shroud is for you. But if you're just like pure Elon Musk SpaceX type deal, then maybe the Marcolian are for you. So I think there's a blaster rifle down there somewhere. It's one of our newer cards, so you can see some of the maybe it's not on the site yet, but you can see some of the technology that they've got going for them.
Very cool, very cool. So to kind of like follow up a little bit of the lore, so talking about the gameplay for everybody who's kind of like hanging out and chatting and is familiar with how card games work, can you speak a little bit to the way that you guys have kind of iterated upon like the power mechanic that kind of Magic had employed via mana, and Hearthstone has employed via your power structure of every level? You kind of everyone gets one piece of power.
I mean, so again, I've played a lot of these games like Magic, Hearthstone, Netrunner, whatever. I mean, you can name the game. I probably have it in my basement or installed on my computer. But the way that I see it is like Magic was the first to popularize these kind of games, and they did a lot really well. But one of the things, I'm not the best deck constructor, so one of the things that I found myself found happening to me very regularly was either I'd be mana flooded or mana starved. So I wouldn't have enough resources, or I'd have too much resources and not enough cards to spend them on. And then of course, Hearthstone iterated on that with their mana system, where you would just, rather than needing to draw mana from your deck, you're getting one mana a turn. And I thought that was genius because it also helps mitigate some RNG in the game. You know, by turn 3, you can play a 3-cost card. By turn 5, you can play a 5-cost card, that sort of thing. And so what we decided to do was, okay, well, what if we took it one step further and made the choices a little bit more difficult? So rather than either having to draw mana from your deck or just getting 1 mana a turn, what we've decided to do is you can take any card in your hand once per turn, play it face down in front of you into what we're calling the power bank, and use that as mana. So it does a number of things. One is it forces you to make some choices early on. Like, do I play this card for its intended purpose? If it's a creature, do I need this creature to win the game? Or, can I safely convert it to mana this turn and, mitigate, not play that creature? Is the cost too high? That sort of thing. There's a lot of choices there. But then we've integrated some other mechanics into the game that work with those face down, that mana pool. So it's not just mana. As an example, you can reveal your opponent's cards, so you get a sense of what kind of deck they're playing. As a Cathari, we talked about their sort of cloning system. There are cards that when you play them in your bank, you actually play a copy of it onto the field. So, that does one of two things. Obviously, lets you play a card for free, but it also reveals, hey, this is the card that I just banked, right? So your opponent's going to know some things about you. And then we have other cards that say, okay, if your opponent has any banked creatures, do X, or steal a bank card from your opponent. And so there's sort of this like give and take of information, and the mana pool isn't just a stagnant mana pool. There's more sort of layers built on top of it.
Yeah, with the NFT gaming rise here that we're going to see in the next 6 months and continuing on into the very foreseeable future, I'm fascinated in this idea that crypto is very decentralized, and when you're thinking decentralization, sometimes that means fair. But to me, there's this interesting piece where play to earn kind of goes up next to pay to win, right? Because card games are pay to win. I remember being Magic the Gathering and playing against a guy who had a severely better deck than me. There's nothing I could do. So I'm definitely interested in this free-to-play versus pay-to-win aspect and how you guys are approaching that.
Yeah, you notice it a lot more, thanks to the rise of the internet and information sharing, that, unlike the old days in Magic where you have to sort of craft your own decks, or you would craft like a derivative of a deck that you had seen. Net decking is a pretty popular thing. You can actually go to whatever HearthstoneMeta.com or whatever site for whatever game you're playing and see the most popular decks in the game and sort of craft those. So it becomes fairly easy to sort of spend resources or money or whatever to get the best decks pretty quickly, and you know what they are. So it's not really a mystery of crafting decks anymore. So what we're trying to do is allow you to either sort of earn as you play. One of our founders likes to talk about how he equates it to other cryptocurrencies, where as the equations get harder and harder, it becomes harder to earn the currency. What we want to do is, as the players get better and better at the game, as you rise above the ranks, it becomes harder and harder to earn the currency, but the payouts are slightly bigger. There's also the idea of clans, where you can kind of share resources, or they're not called clans, excuse me. I can't remember the exact terminology we're using, but essentially it allows you to loan cards to your friends so that if you have a super rare card, it's not just yours. And then, of course, the NFT space allows you to do things like buy, sell, and trade your assets. So if you have an asset that's desirable, but it's not the type of deck that you're willing to play, you can obviously trade it for the cards you want. So you can still kind of earn free assets and trade those, as opposed to having to just throw down dollars in order to build the best deck. And I think that it's also important to note that in a lot of these games, and I hope ours included, you can get to the most powerful decks if you're willing to grind it out without spending any money. You just have to be willing to grind further. The one thing that I want to avoid at all costs is just making it so that the only way to realistically get at these decks is to spend money, because I think that I hate play to win. I'm not against paying game companies money to further my progress, but for me it's just about time savings as opposed to I need to do this to win.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with excuse me, with like that game economy in mind, what is, I guess, the plan for Parallel, as far as, I assume that you'll use like a layer 2 solution, that way like trading and things like that, like game aspects, can be done without any like cost to the players that would be kind of detrimental to the experience.
I mean, we're investigating all alternatives now. I mean, we luckily it's early on enough that we can kind of pick the best solution for us. The one thing that is most important for me, okay, I should say the things that are most important for me are, as you said, making it such that players can buy, sell, and trade assets as inexpensive to themselves as possible. So, I mean, that's one of the things we're investigating. And also, what's really important to me is, and I know the guys are going to kill me for saying this, but like for me, or some of them anyway, but for me, it's about we're building a game that is incorporating NFTs as opposed to an NFT based game. Because I find that, and no shade to any of these games, but I find that some of the NFT games that exist right now are almost proof of concept for what NFTs can do. But really, what I want to do is make a game that shows you, on its face, here is a game. And you don't need to know anything about NFTs to play this game. But if you want to dive into the NFT world, the resources are there for you to buy, sell, and trade if you want. And I want to make that as inexpensive as possible too. So like the idea isn't such, like, I don't know what the going rate for like a, like a Top Shot pack is, or like a other NFT packs are, but I want ours to be equal to, if not less than, what Magic the Gathering or what Hearthstone is selling their packs for. Because our goal is to appeal to gamers and NFT and crypto people, but really like game first.
Right,
I hope
right,
that
and
answers the question.
the comparison to, yeah, yeah, and to compare it to like NBA Top Shot, I think is kind of a good like thought, because with like Top Shot, they have created this ecosystem of reason to take part and trade and kind of be part of that, like that community. So to know that like that's kind of like your plan is excellent. So I think that like man, that's like pretty much all the questions that I had in regards to like the content and what you guys are providing. I think that's a really good overview of the experience that you guys are looking to provide. I'm really looking forward to being able to kind of jump in at some point. So I guess to kind of wrap things up a little bit, do you want to kind of give us a rundown of what to look for next for our community? And if anybody in chat has any questions, feel free to go ahead and throw those out while he kind of gives us like the wrap up of what they're doing. But like, how can we get involved as community members who are interested in the project?
So a couple things to note. As of now, we had an initial sale of our NFTs, and then we came out with what's called masterpieces, which I'll explain in a second. But most of those sales are done at this point. Our next sort of big goal is to provide packs for people, so that you can, you have that pack opening experience and you can start crafting your decks. And in those packs, not only will be these playable cards, but will also be these things called masterpieces. So now what they are, and as far as I know, this is sort of novel in the NFT game space, but essentially what they are is, if you look at our cards list, you'll see, like, let's pick a card here. The first one, First Son of Mars. Um, the masterpiece version of the First Son of Mars isn't a playable card, but what it does is it enables that current NFT holder to one of one, and whoever holds the masterpiece for the First Son of Mars, any sales that any of the First Son of Mars cards make in the secondary market, they will get a percentage of those sales.
Bam.
So
Oh,
essentially, like,
wow.
we're allowing our players to sort of grow with the game economy. So, some of them have large runs too. Thousands of cards, and so you'll get if you own the masterpiece for that card, you'll get a percentage of the matching card sales for that masterpiece. And we started out giving them or selling them at auction, but eventually they'll be available in packs as well.
So what are these going for at current rate right now in auction?
The masterpieces,
Yes.
uh, that is a question for someone other than me to answer. Unfortunately, you'd think that I'd be super well versed in the economy of the game, but I am more well versed in the game part of the game. You'll see them; they have white borders. If you scroll down, eventually you'll probably get to them. There you go.
That is not.
But they're all over.
Price there.
No. I think that's what someone's trying to sell them for.
Yeah.
But they're kind of all over the map.
But underneath,
but you'll see where it says,
like, so some of these have sold,
like
2.6. I mean, look at that one, the masterpiece on the left. That's sold for 7.5 ETH. Like, that's like, I mean, some of these are. I mean, when you think about it, like, it makes sense.
What's crazy about that one is that's the prime card. So the masterpiece sold for 7.5, but I'm pretty sure the card that this is a masterpiece of is actually also one of one, and that one sold for 26 ETH, I think. At auction. Yeah. Something.
Oh, and then so the guy who had the masterpiece gets 1% of the sale.
So yeah, they'll get a percentage of the aftermarket sales should it sell again. Secondary market. Yeah. Oh, one thing I should also mention, and you guys kind of brought it up to me before the call started, but I think that it's important to note that the artists who are working on these cards are, while being friends of ours, they've worked on some pretty prestigious titles as far as I'm concerned. Some of the titles include, and sorry guys if I've left any out here, but Fortnite, Assassin's Creed, Star Wars, Valorant, Far Cry, Watch Dogs, the Fast and Furious series, Overwatch, some DreamWorks films, some of the Splinter Cell games, and actually some Disney properties as well.
Wow,
that's insane.
Yeah, why didn't we have you on like 2 weeks ago when we could have partaked in this? But Koji, this has been a great interview, man. Drop some links. I know guys are gonna want to come check out this project and get involved. So drop some links there, and we can kind of continue with the episode, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Just check us out at Parallel.Life, and if you want to keep up to date, join our Discord. I believe it's called Parallel.Life as well. I'm on there all the time. You can ask me any questions you want about the game or about anything, really. I really appreciate you guys having me on. And this has been great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on so much. If you want to DM me the Discord link, I'll drop it in chat for everybody. That way they can hop in, and we'll share it on our Discord as well, dude. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us and catching us up to date. We look forward to chatting with you and the rest of the team again soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Later, buddy.
Bye.
Bang, bang.
Dude, awesome. That project is so dope. Look, that last part, I don't know if you noticed, but man, my smile just gets bigger and bigger when I think about like the talent that is coming into this space and creating projects. Like this isn't like, dude, this isn't just, I don't want to throw shade at any project, so I'm not going to name anything, but it's not just another NFT thing. Right? Like this is a game, and these guys have gone out, they've done, and I don't know if I should say this or not, hopefully I don't get in trouble, but they've done like pre-seed, like round, like they have funding. They're making a video game that wants to compete with like Hearthstone and Magic Arena. And in my opinion, they're positioning themselves pretty damn well.
Yeah, I think so, man. I remember the dog days when we were just doing NFT live in like last June, where it would kind of it would have that feeling, right, of just being another NFT project, kind of just doing it to do it, where now you see the maturity of the space a little bit, almost been a year, and you see these awesome projects. It was always going to be that way, but it's great to see, and it's great to have interviews with awesome projects, man. We always get after it there, so I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I appreciate you guys dropping some comments while we were live. That's always my favorite part is being able to directly ask comments from the chat to the founders of these different projects. So appreciate you guys getting after it there in the chat too.
Yeah, for sure. And Koji, just so you know, Nightbot is going to snip you in the butt for trying to share a link. So if you want to DM that to me, brother, on Discord or Twitter, I'd be happy to share it and get around the bot for you. But yeah, man, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody in chat. Everybody was super hype. I think that, Peter especially, I knew Peter would like that as soon as I saw him in chat. Man, he loves card games and loves thinking about the mechanics behind them. So it's super exciting exciting. Super exciting.
Absolutely, man. All right, we are going to get to the episode here. We got a full kind of slate of news to get to you, but the one thing I want to get to first here, Ronan, is, and we have this for later in the episode, but let's just hit it now, man. I've got an awesome little tweet here from Young Content, who is a lad himself, and there is some news here that we've got right here, and this is a pretty cool little graphic. What's going on?
Yeah, man, I thought that was really dope, dude. So I am going to be hanging out with Young Content this afternoon and chatting about, just the whole collector aspect of NFTs and kind of how I got into things. And he was, he just hit me up and was like, dude, I'd love to like have you on my show and just chat it up. And I said, hell yeah, dude, why not? Let's do it. So big shout out to Young Content. Thank you so much for joining the show here and hanging out with us. You guys make sure that you show us a little bit of love in Young's content a little bit later at 4 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to be pretty shortly after we're done here. I'll follow up with him and we'll get started over there and continue the NFT convo. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Awesome, man. We're flying through this. I really feel like this is one of like the best flowing episodes we've had. I feel it right now, Ronan. The rain in the background can't even bring me down. So this is what we're doing. We've got a full slate. So we've got Bored Ape Yacht Club coming out with a community grant. We've got social.io launching some new features here. We've got Unicly, which I'm super excited about. VeeFriends, Gary V just winning. And then we got Dapper Labs getting sued. I covered this yesterday on Layer 1 Live, but I want to hit it on NFT Live. And then RFOX and VFOX. Expo has been waiting at least 2 weeks to hear us talk about RFOX. So he's finally getting a little bit of action there. So I will start with the first piece of news here. As I pull up my screen, I will be able to get to the Bored Ape Yacht Club launching a community grant program. Obviously, the generative art scene has done super well. If you got into that scene early in the last 2 months, you are sitting pretty on some really cool assets. And the cool thing about it is those assets allow you access to community. And that's been the vision all day long, 24/7, that we've been preaching since the beginning. And Bored Ape Yacht Club is getting after it when it comes to this. So I love their branding. I love what they're doing. And then they're taking some of the funds that they've raised in that initial sale. You're thinking DAO here. Think DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization. This is it. They are using some of those funds to actually fund a community grant program up to 3K. So basically, you want to come in, you want to do some cool shit in Bored Ape Yacht Club, you got a chance to earn some cash, and that's going to be paid out in ETH. I'm assuming, again, that comes from the raise that they had. So Ronan's a Bored Ape Yacht Club member as well. We're kind of ape strong together here. So what do you make of this community grant program, man?
Dude, it's awesome to see. I think that like what I'm most looking forward to is like the fact that NFTs also provide this ability to do just this. It gives you the ability to almost do a Kickstarter where the community and the people who take part in the Kickstarter and who are investing can then cash in on that investment, right? Like, so you and I who have an investment in Bored Ape Yacht Club can now go and say, hey, let's start a project and let's do something really cool using the fact that you have own derivatives of your apes and whatnot, and let's make some cool stuff happen, man. I've heard of Twitch in like shows. I've heard of obviously you're showing here a really cool derivative, which is the full bodies, where they add like a full body on your ape and an animation, which is insane, dude. I really hope that those guys reach out to me because Black Hat needs one of those.
Hell yeah.
And dude, comic books and today started trending, which I think was the response to the artifact and the punks thing, is the apes are starting to take over the Vans website. They're using their ape derivative images and being able to upload them to Vans and getting a custom pair of kicks, dude. Ooh. So I know what I'll be doing after my interview with Young Content, looking for some Black Hat kicks. So yeah, dude, I'm really excited about it, project. I think that this is where NFTs really create what a lot of people refer to as like the creator economy.
Yeah.
Where you're investing in a product and then you can also turn around and have the product provide some investment back in you.
Yeah, 100%. I want to get to some of these comments, man, before we get on to the next story. Shroomba is talking about an NBA Top Shot piece. NBA Top Shot doesn't enable withdrawals. We need to talk about that. And in T. Farino is saying, hey guys, how do I get some LADs? I think you have an awesome show and want to get some LADs before they are super expensive. Greetings from Heidelberg, Germany. So nice to see her. It looks like the community already got that response back. And if you want to hop into our Discord, that's absolutely the best place to get all the information. It is LADZ city, and you'll take you right to the Discord. You can get set up, and there's a lot of cool guys and ladies who will get you set up in the city. So I'm super excited.
Yep. And it's great to see new people jumping in and learning and asking questions. And Shroomba, to kind of talk about that and to kind of touch on that, I think, we will be talking about Dapper and the situation that they found themselves in with that, and have a little chat about that as well, because it's definitely something that is on our radar. And I think the community's talking about, and it's something that, is worth a discussion. I think that being sued is a bit much, but the next story that we've got up for you guys is my boy Harlan Perez. He is an artist, a 3D artist, and he has put together this amazing space in spatial.io. And it is a gallery that he is going to basically do a sci-fi gallery show. This is the space where the gallery will take place. Right now it's kind of like in what he told me was preview mode. And I'll tell you guys, I got a walkthrough yesterday, and he like 15 minutes before he hit me up, and he was like, hey man, do you want to walk through it in VR? And I said, what? Hell yeah, let's do it. So I grabbed my Quest and I put it on, and he walked me through this space. And this dude, if you want to know where we're going with NFTs, this is it. Okay. Like all of these posters on the walls are essentially what can be NFTs, right? But what's cool is that if you want to, right now, anybody in chat can go to spatial.io and you can boot up your own space, and you can attach your wallet in the settings, and you can literally pull anything from your wallet into this 3D space. Right now, it does have to be MetaMask, and I'm sure there's some limitations. But he even at one point pulled out a GBL 3D model and was able to scale it to like the size of the entire room. Also worth noting, something that is really, really cool. If you want to create a space like this, right? Let's imagine, you have the skill set, you put together a really dope looking gallery, right? In spatial.io, you can make an NFT out of that. You can send it to somebody, they can put it in their wallet, they can go into spatial.io, and then they can access that NFT in the spatial.io app, and it is now their space, and they can now go into that and they can add to that gallery and do what as they please. So imagine like an economy where we're talking about, like, now not only are you displaying your NFTs in a really cool 3D web3 space, but the space you're in is an NFT, right? Like, and the furniture that is in the room is an NFT. Imagine having like a Fuocious like wallpaper, right? Like that's like where we're going. Like and dude, it was so insane. We got in, there's a spatial audio. So like the closer he got to me, the louder he got. If he was on my left side, I heard him in my left ear. If he was on the right side, you have an avatar, you have hands, you can like raise your hands, you can walk up, you can high five, you can clap. Sick. Dude, talk about, like, I said, okay, when he launches, we're going to do a launch event where we're going to have the lads. You guys are going to come and hang out in this cool space where everybody's going to have their headsets on. You can join by web and stuff, but like, it's not the same experience. I did it by web, not the same thing. But to be able to be in the space, to have your headset on, to be able to move, to be able to look, to have these pieces of art or these like 3D models that are like massive or small, and you can like move in and zoom in, and
yeah,
dude.
An amazing. I think you broke that down perfectly. While you were talking, Ronan, I set up, or at least I pulled up, a thing that I think you might be interested in based on this discussion. Okay. So I'm gonna take you in. I'm gonna take you in. Are you ready?
Yeah, dude, I'm ready. I'm always ready. Okay. My body's ready.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is a live reaction here, everybody. Look at that hash mask.
Yeah.
Here we
Check
go.
It
Here we
out,
go.
Woo! Oh no!
What? What?
Fucking low hand, man.
What? No, it's fine. It's
On Cyber should block that NFT.
This
Like,
wait for the physical piece. Wait for the
Jesus, dude, this
physical
was
piece.
such a cool gallery, and then you did that.
Yeah, look at the little
Have you seen
lads.
my ape one? Have you seen my ape one?
No, I have not. Send me the link and
Oh
we
my
can hop in.
gosh, dude. Okay, yeah, no, totally. I'm gonna send you my ape. I've got an ape room, and it's like just my apes.
I'll just be here.
It's ridiculous.
I'll just be here.
Man, I did want on cyber is really cool. Look, on cyber is dope. Rare rooms is cool. The Web3 space is just going to continue to blow up. Like being able to display your NFTs is an experience, right? And the fact that in spatial you can literally drop in that space. I can send you the link. You can put your headset on, click the link, and now you're in the space. Now we're talking. We can walk around. I can show. Dude, he was walking me around. He literally said something about one of the artists about the fact that this artist did a piece for Fifth Element, right? And I'm like, shut up! Fifth Element is one of my favorite movies. So he like walks me over to the poster that the guy designed. He's like, yeah, and he's like showing it to me and he's explaining it, and I'm like, dude, I could totally see this going down in a gallery. You know what I mean? Like taking like imagine us hosting an event. You know what I mean? And the artist being able to talk about their work, and people who are standing in the crowd around them can literally clap and they can hear, they can raise their hand, they can ask questions. You know what I mean? Like the experience is insane, and it got me really, really excited for where we're going in the space, and to see NFTs integrated so seamlessly in that experience is was mind blowing for me, because I didn't think that we were to that point yet. And I feel like every day that's my feeling. Like someone shows me a project and I'm like, shit, I thought that was another year away.
Yeah.
You know?
I cannot wait. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I cannot wait for legitimate VR, like crypto voxel, decentralized type situations where you can have real estate that you can actually just traverse in virtual reality, like in true virtual reality. I think that is going to be so amazing. You saw it there where you're just kind of hopping into your quote unquote showroom that is technically not yours, but you're showing off your NFT assets. That's a whole nother experience than what we've seen, man. And that is that I wholeheartly agree. I agree with you completely, man. It's next level, and I can't wait till the tech gets there fully. So can't wait. Okay. I guess the lads are loving that little Lindsay Lohan piece there. I always have to troll Ronan with the Lindsay Lohan. I feel like we all have our little one thing. I get Greta all the time, so you're going to get Lohan. But yeah, thanks for being a good sport on that one. I've got the next piece. This is amazing. I really love to see this be built out. Speaking of like building things out, right? What you have here is building out DeFi with NFTs. And I know this can get a little bit complicated, but basically what Unicly is doing, and they just launched a token, by the way. Let me see if I can pull up their token price as well, because I believe it's through the absolute roof. They just launched this. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yep. Okay, so I've got the token price here in front of me, guys. We can take a look at 1,800 a pop. So it looks like the supply is super low. 1,800 pop, up 46% in the last 24 hours. So a lot of good things happening with the token. And let me show you why. Basically what you have here, for those that aren't familiar with fractionalization of NFTs, is you pretty much have a stock market. To put it in layman's terms, you have a stock market for NFTs. So if you can't own a Mystic Axie, for example, and I'll take us in a little bit, you can see the liquidity in this, which is basically an indicator of health for DeFi platforms. You can see it's absolutely rocketed, 53 million, up from about 3 million on April 18th. But what we have here is, and I'll take you to the top tokens, look at the price of these basically fractionalization. So instead of buying a Mystic Axie, what you could do is buy a U Axie, which is a representation essentially of the stock of Mystic Axies. And again, this is not investment advice. Do your own research, but this is awesome to see, and the liquidity is the piece that's really cool, because anyone can go out and create this stuff. The piece that is really cool with Unicly is you actually have liquidity, right? Like me, and if you're a dev, you could go out and say, okay, I'm making a derivative of a Mystic Axie, but to have $1 million in liquidity in it is an entirely different piece. So you see $26 million in wrapped ETH, 12 in this Jenny Metaverse DAO token. All of these different things now are tradable, right? It's tradable in the same way that you're trading fungible tokens. So this is really, really cool. I hope you guys understand how awesome this is, and then you could participate You know, if you think Beeple's going to take off here in the next month, which I would definitely take the other side of that because I'm not happy with Beeple right now, you can go ahead and invest in Beeple. So just need a way to short it now.
Love the positive, the positivity there, brother. I think
sometimes we need to be
dude,
real, all right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to be real.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. You know, honestly, like I was like whatever about it, but lately I've been kind of like, I don't know about that guy. But anyway, I think this is really cool. I think the ability to kind of again gamify the experience and just give more people more ways to partake and in the you know, the ecosystem is better. So the more the merrier. Super cool. Eventually I will end up learning about the financial side of what we do, so I can sit on some Matic bags until 3:00 in the morning, figuring out how to put them on the ledger, and you know, go from there. So, but so next up for you guys, we do have VeeFriends. So the hot news on the street is Gary Vee and the project that he launched last week at VeeFriends.com. So the VeeFriends drop was extremely successful. You know, when you consider what they did, they basically launched on their own, you know, proprietary platform via his website. And yeah, $33 million worth of VeeFriends. Obviously, you know, 5 days, that's a whole lot of cash to be made. I do think that what's important here is the fact that I think here, yep, right there, 4,117 unique holders. Okay. That's a huge number. I think for anyone who needs to kind of understand, like comparatively, I think the apes are at like 2,200. I think punks like just got over 2,000 recently holders. So like when you consider the amount of people who are holding VeeFriends, that's huge, right? And I think it speaks volumes to Gary Vee's ability to bring people into a new space and do so in droves, right? So some other really cool points here: 148,000 people in their community on Discord. The most expensive sold for 48 ETH. Mostly U.S. Buyers there, with Canada coming in second, or other non-traceables, which I guess makes sense for the crypto community. And then basically all of this took place on Nameless. Nameless is essentially what used to be Infin NFT, and since you couldn't say the name Infinity Tokens, is now Nameless.io. So big ups to Jimmy over there and his team at NFT 42. I think that, you know, look, this is the future of the space. We're going to see projects come in, brands, you know, and celebrities and artists like Gary come in, and they're going to want a complete solution, right? They're going to want a bolt-on, come into my ecosystem, live in my ecosystem, take part in what I'm doing on a daily basis, and that's where the value is going to come, right? So seeing Gary do what he did, huge shout out to them. I think, like, you know, a big part of this was utility. Obviously, it's to a very specific community. When you're in that, like, all of these rewards were kind of focused on Gary Vee experiences and kind of attending his conferences and things like that. But, you know, outside of that, dude, cool project, excellent numbers, good to see more people entering the space through whatever means necessary. And huge shout out to Gary Vee as well as Jimmy and the NFT 42 team.
Yeah, to see Jimmy involved in that is really cool. And Gary Vee, I think you get into the realm when he first came in. We were like, okay, hold up, hold your horses there, guy. Like, you're gonna make your way. But he's been a good advocate for NFTs. I know,
Yeah.
you know, Gary Vee's Gary Vee. So it's been awesome to see his rampage to the top, essentially, of being an NFT influencer. I mean, he is
For now.
For now. Wait till Ronan the
For
Collector's
now.
on your ass. But
I'm telling you, brother.
Yeah. There you go, man. All right, so I got the next piece. I touched on this on Layer 1 Live yesterday in the NFT section. Basically, you know, Flow was on an absolute freaking tear for about 3 months. It was a great time. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. We had basically the token run up to about $50. Now it's sitting at around $21, and we are having news like this to deal with. This is pretty much ado about nothing. Dapper Labs got sued on allegations NBA Top Shot moments are unregistered securities. It's multiple people in the community that are crypto lawyers that are involved. in the legal system in one form or another came out and said this was absolute horseshit. From this person is pretty much just pissed. I know we had a lot of people that were pissed about NBA Top Shot in our community when it came to withdrawing funds and not being able to do that, and that's basically the claim, right? So the claim from this woman who's based in Virginia basically says that it stems essentially from the NBA Top Shot not allowing people to withdraw their funds from the ecosystem, therefore potentially having them put money back into NBA Top Shot, right? If you, it's almost like you're putting money into the casino. If they don't allow you to take the money out, you kind of just continue playing the casino games to see if you just really have no control at that point. Which, to be fair, is a little bit of a complaint, but it's not claiming it's not going to the point where NFTs are unregistered securities, right? There's a huge jump there. There's definitely consumer protections that come along with being able to cash out your funds from a platform, but that doesn't make the jump to just because one thing increases in value and they kind of mess up the customer service there, that therefore it's a security. So it really is a little bit of much ado about nothing for this one, but it is a piece of news that made kind of mainstream kind of crypto media. So, we have to kind of cover it there. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah. I think that, look, if anything, I don't know. Just to me, it's obvious that it was a disgruntled customer who just probably had a little extra cash. Look, she's complaining about not getting her money, but how much did she pay to file the lawsuit? It's not cheap, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. I think that we're going to continue to see stuff like this, and obviously, I think that this is the type of stuff that mainstream media will see more often, versus all the cool shit, the fact that there's an entire village in the Philippines that feeds their families by playing an NFT based game in Axie Infinity, right? It still blows my mind that we haven't seen that story on CNN or anything like that, how it's changing lives like that on a daily basis, but you continue to see FUD, right? And I think that at the end of the day, and I've probably preached this, and I know I've preached it to you, but I definitely think anyone who's talked to me at length knows that eventually I always say, have you listened to or read The Sovereign Individual? And if you haven't, then you should, and you would know that this is part of the way things are going to play out, right? We're dealing with a technology that is shaking up the entire world. Yeah. Right. This is the greatest transfer of wealth ever in history. And when you consider that, there's obviously the fact that people don't want that to happen, right? Yeah. So they're going to scare the shit out of everybody and make you feel like it's something unsafe or that you shouldn't be getting into. It's just like the fact that, your bank will tell you that, you can't transfer money into Coinbase because crypto is not safe for you.
I'm shutting
it. I know. I've come a long way since July. Q has taught me a lot, and I appreciate it so much. And I'm sure you're sitting there, you look like a proud dad, man. Yeah. And I feel good. I feel like a proud, a happy son. I've made my dad proud, preaching the word. And so, yeah, man. And it's cool to see, dude. And, yeah, I'm just happy I'm a part of it. I'm happy to see that, what people like Koji and the team over at Parallel are doing, and building this new economy that, should reward people for their time and especially for their creations and the things that they do. So I really feel like NFTs position us to be in a different place in society in 10, 15, 20 years from now. So, and hopefully it's a better one.
I completely agree, man. And we're doing our part to make sure that's actually going to be the case here. So I've got some comments from the crowd. Crypto Buffalo is in the house. He says Q and Ronan, the OGs of NFT Live, giving us the shaka there. Young Content saying Q and Ronan Def OG along with Crypto Stash. Easy's trying to buy some flow, not financial advice. And then Llama's following up with LOL, if everything is a security, we might as well be communists. I like the comments coming through, Shroomba. I do. Yeah. He's saying exactly they don't allow liquidity, and shout out to the lady that sued him. I think there is a legitimate case to be made on consumer protections. I just don't think it's the jump. It's the jump from unregistered securities that we don't need coming down with FUD in the NFT space. So they definitely
the approach, 100% the approach. Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think that when you have a product where you're, I mean, okay, look, they don't advertise the fact that you go and you make money doing Top Shot. But when you have a product where that is like primarily how people are interacting with it, and the reason they're reacting or interacting with it, then you should probably make sure you have a way for them to get their money back after they do put it in, right? So I definitely think that from, like you said, a consumer standpoint, that needs to be addressed. And I don't know if there's any consumer, law that they could have went with versus a security. And I think that the issue that we have here is that we don't need that FUD. We don't need that coming anywhere near like what we're doing, right? Like what we're building, and we don't need it coming near the technology in general and giving them any type of reason to do more regulation and more foresight and all that shit into what we've got going on. Because what we've got going on is fine. Yes, we need a little foresight and somebody to be able to stick up for the customer, but
I feel that 100%. I think we closed that out pretty well. I believe that is there one more story here? Oh shit, we've got to hit RFOX, and Ronan's gonna have the quickest transition of all time to the next show. So let's hit RFOX, or else XPOW is gonna kill us. I've got that pulled up on my screen, and then we're gonna quickly get out of here because Ronan does have an interview here at 4 p.m. with Young Content. Man, that's gonna be dope. I'm gonna watch that myself as well. So let's hit RFOX real quick.
Yeah. So RFOX, and the reason that I put this last, guys, okay, no shouting, no yelling in chat, is because I did want the ability for us to kind of have a little breath here and to be able to discuss what the team is doing at RFOX. I also wanted to make sure I clearly understood the vision of the project before I sat here and tried to explain it to everybody in chat, right? And to tell you guys and kind of give you the update here. So the big news here, obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, and I'm sure most of you do know, is that RFOX, Red Fox Labs, is going to be launching a metaverse, and this metaverse is going to be called the VALT, or their VALT. In this metaverse, you're looking at about 120 plots of land. Those plots of land there's going to be 100 of those that are going to be auctioned off. 20 of those are being held by RFOX. 12 of the 20 that RFOX are holding are going to be basically for what they're calling essentially like big brand, right? Like, so that's like they've got 12 partners essentially, right, that are going to have land in this space. And something that is really unique, and what I think is most important here, is that they are approaching it very much from a consumer and marketplace standpoint. So what we're looking at here is the breakdown of VFOX. So the way this works, and I'm not going to get into the weeds with this because, as you all know, I don't know enough about it to get in the weeds. But essentially what happens here is you can stake and farm RFOX plus VFOX. VFOX is the token directly connected to the vault. And when you do that, you're able to then get your LP tokens, and then you can take your LP tokens and farm those. And you essentially have, over the next 5 weeks, a farm pool that is taking place where every week the pool goes a little bit gets less and less, but based on how much of the pool you own is basically what you're going to get paid out. And that's kind of the VFOX part. Okay. Beyond that, the cool part, what is really interesting to me, and where I think that we wanted to kind of go over and discuss, is this roadmap and what it entails for everyone else. Right. So essentially what RFOX is doing that's different, which I harped on for a second, was that they're approaching this as a marketplace. Economics is very important to the entire project. Obviously, you can tell through the VFOX and the RFOX and the LP pool that's a thing. What's really unique about this is if you're a holder of VFOX, when this metaverse goes live, you will actually get a portion of sales that take place in the metaverse based on your VFOX holdings. So that's a cool aspect of kind of getting involved now and being a part of it. Then once the land launches, you're essentially looking at buying real estate in a virtual 3D mall. Right. So, and what you're going to do there is you're going to build out a marketplace, and you'll have, just like you can see here. And I think that there's actually a video, if you scroll down or maybe up a little bit, there should be a video that we can play that kind of shows you what dude. And the idea here is that that the stores all kind of live in their own space. They're all kind of like their own little islands. Right. But you can come in, they're really focusing on this like buying experience. Like at the end of the day, a lot of people put emphasis on the gaming aspect of what NFTs are going to do, right? But one thing that the RFOX team pointed out to me was that we're not putting enough emphasis on one of the biggest spaces in the world, which is shopping. right? Like the amount of money, like, and he gave me facts. And at the end of the day, the amount of money that like, you know, females have to, as for expendable income is much larger than males. It's fact. It's a number. When you look at the comparison, it's like $32 trillion industry every year versus like the barely 1 trillion for gaming, right? And gaming's huge. So when you consider that, they're really focusing on a different marketplace, and they're focused in Asia. They're definitely targeting like specific niche. They've got this, you know, this live sale QVC aspect that's going to be built into it, where live streamers can kind of come on and talk about products and answer questions about product as the sale's going on. A lot of future thought, in my opinion, to what the consumer experience is like, right? As we move forward. I mean, I can definitely see us like jumping in. Like imagine like you and your buddies are hanging out and you're like, yo, I want to go like catch some new digs for like, you know, the freaking the concert Friday night. So you go, you hit up the, you know, the Adidas store, right? And you grab some, or Reebok, right? Because they worked with Reebok on something. So there's a little connection there. Some people are wondering if Reebok is going to be in on this. But imagine you go, you buy your pair of Reeboks in the universe, you get your wearable 3D kicks, right? They get put on your avatar. And then 6 weeks later, they also show up on your doorstep, right? So like, there's a huge play here. And when you consider like the NFTs and the gamification, they're also doing things like, imagine in this world, they've got like these districts, if you want, right? Like these kind of like, so they've got like the art and music and like entertainment, and then they've got the shopping, and then they've got their the gaming, and then I can't remember what the fourth one is. But like, so imagine like there's a concert gonna go on. You're a gamer in the RFOX like thing, like you play cogs, right? And for anyone who plays cogs, you know that you can create these tubes, and a tube is basically a full collection kind of bottled up, right? Now imagine like you can either pay $10 to go to this concert, or you can be a holder of a common tube in cogs, right? Now imagine you own 4 common tubes. Now me, you, Buff, and you know, Hash can attend the concert, all based on the fact that I've got 4 of these tubes locked away, right? Or me and you can go and I can sell the other 2. So like you have this ability to start like giving like this, like the game players an environment where they can make money outside of just gaming. Like they're gaming, they're collecting their cogs, they're creating these tubes, and now they're putting these tubes up for rent, so people can then rent them and take part in other events going on in this metaverse, right? Like that's the future. Like NFTs provide for not only the gamification, but like the financial, like, you know, like incentive to like continue to be part of that ecosystem.
I'm trying to think if anyone else is doing it quite like RFOX, and I appreciate their team. I mean, we interviewed Cogs back in the day, and we had no idea. No one had any idea that this is what it would become. So shout out to that team. They are absolutely killing it. It's hard to.
I worked closely with those guys back in November, like super close. I was helping them with a lot of stuff, and I had no idea. They were like, "We've got big things coming," but this is huge. I mean, they bought out a company, like they, you know, like legit straight up bought this company in Asia that has this virtual, you know, influencer live sale thing going on, and they're integrating it, and they're really like targeting a niche that I think is going to be huge as we move forward.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of think of a project that is attacking it from this angle, where they're creating the environment along with the assets themselves. I think Sandbox might be the closest, but I think they're just so varied. Like you're going to get so many different experiences within Sandbox. There's not this one dedicated experience like you're getting with this world right now, man. That's crazy. Great story.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And to touch on some comments, Pete corrected me. I think I said 5 week. It's definitely 5 month. And as each, you know, block week. So they do it based on blocks. So every block week is like the next iteration, and it kind of goes down from there. So correction there. And then also correction, they're not tubes, they're tubes. CHOOB. So shout out to all the Cogs faithful who came in and corrected me. I apologize. I don't own any tubes, so if anybody wants to, like, I don't know, help me get my shit together when it comes to my collection, hit my DMs, because I'd appreciate that. And outside of that, man, DJ Savage said, when LADZ hoodie?
I had it up. I had it up.
When LADZ
Do you
hoodie.
want to touch on it very quickly? You got to get to your next
This
thing.
is we're just yeah. I got to get to the next thing, and I need to be able to like take a
Yep,
pee
I
between.
get it.
So, okay. So to answer your question, DJ Savage, we've got news coming. And that news is that we're going to be partnering with Salt and Satoshi, and we will be producing our first run of LADS merchandise, and we're going to be offering t-shirts and hoodies. Those hoodies and t-shirts are actually going to be part of our new branding that we will be rolling out generally around the same time. So we've got a lot of cool shit coming to you guys. As you can see, we're going to have some NFT drip for you. There's the NFT Live representing on their homepage. Big shout out to Salt and Satoshi for that. Yeah. We appreciate you guys. We are so hype about this partnership. We're really looking forward to bringing you guys the ability to get some of that real world LADS wear, so you can rep the LADS as you go about your business every day. So I know I'm going to be copying a hoodie for sure. Also, you guys, when it comes to the art, when it comes to the NFTs, when it comes to the design of what we're doing here at LADS, just know we're about to take it up a notch. And when I say a notch, like we're turning the dial all the way the F up. So look out for some really cool stuff coming from us. One part of which is going to be this merchandise through Salt and Satoshi. Big shout out to those guys. I met with them this morning. We hammered out some more details. So as that comes together, as that project is built out, we will get with you guys and give you some more info and what to look forward to with that experience as we move forward.
Yeah, I got to be honest, from a personal perspective here, this is kind of like a full circle thing for me. MetaFactory, it probably laid the foundation for what Salt and Satoshi is doing. They have the robot token, just like Salt and Satoshi has Salty, and basically they have their it's a social token that goes along with creating digital physical goods. So MetaFactory released its Genesis bomber jacket. It was probably 2 ETH worth at the time, which nowhere near what it is now. And the owners of those assets have like 8x just in robot price alone what they got for that bomber jacket, because you got some bomber or you got some robot with the jacket, which I think is the same thing that you get here with buying one of these seasons that we're going to be working with. You get some Salty along with that. So we got some interesting ideas, but that will be for another day. Thanks again, Magnus, for setting this up. Magnus is part of the Salt and Satoshi team. I dropped that stuff in chat. So really awesome episode, Ronan. I think we absolutely killed it today, man. I think that this is one of our best episodes as a duo that I've seen. So really, really big shout out to yourself.
You got to watch the episode too? That's talent, brother. Like, I agree though, dude. I think this was an excellent episode. I think the guest really put us forward, man. Koji, big shout out to you, brother. Thank you so much for the rundown on Parallel. Thank you to chat and everyone who's been hanging out, to the Cogs crew. I appreciate you guys with all the support that you guys show me and all the love you show the LADS and our network. It's very much appreciated. Salt and Satoshi, big shout out. Magnus, we appreciate you, brother. Hash Rhymes, thank you for all the amazing work you do. And Tigbo, thanks for all the help. Everybody who's been helping LADS lately. This has become a community product, truly. LADS and the LADS network has become something that went from a small team of just a couple of people bullshitting about NFT and crypto to a really amazing community. So we got to go now. That's the end of the show. Our vibe, our tribe. We'll catch you guys next week.
Later, guys.
Hit the button.